There's a mysterious Mexico story involving a group of American friends from North Carolina. The group went to celebrate the birthday of one of their friends. 7 of them planned to go on this trip together, including 25-year-old Shanquella Robinson. Yes, a total of 7 friends left America to spend the weekend in Mexico, but only 6 of them returned. What exactly happened is causing many people to be angry, some frustrated with Mexican authorities, the FBI, and the internet is going in on the remaining so-called friends. Take a second to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell for all updates. If you're watching from Charlotte, North Carolina, drop Charlotte below in the comments. Shanquella Robinson, a 25-year-old woman from Charlotte, North Carolina, was a hair braider who specialized in mostly kids. She made good money as a kid stylist, charging anywhere from $85 to over $150. Parents and kids loved her work, so she was always booked. But in her free time, she enjoyed traveling to places like Las Vegas, Tennessee, Florida, Jamaica, and Mexico. She also enjoyed shopping, buying and dabbling in brands like Gucci and YSL. Shanquella was a hard worker and she spent her free time planning her trips. On October 28, 2022, Shanquella traveled with a group of friends by plane to the island of Cabo San Lucas off the west coast of Mexico. That night, Shanquella called home and told her mother that she and her friends were getting ready to go to dinner. That was the last time they would hear from her because less than 24 hours later, Shanquella was declared deceased.
Tonight, it's become a mystery in Mexico as a Charlotte family tries to find answers into how a 25-year-old wound up dead.
Well, conflicting reports now have them wondering what really happened at a villa in Cabo San Lucas. Morgan Francis tonight spoke to the family and joins us now here in the studio. So Morgan, when did all this happen?
Alicia, this happened about 2 weeks ago. Shanquella Robinson went to Mexico with her friends. She arrived early on Friday the 28th, and her family says the next morning she was dead.
It was supposed to be a fun, long weekend for 25-year-old Shanquella Robinson and her group of friends who went to Cabo to celebrate one of their birthdays.
She told me they had a chef, they was getting ready to eat. They was eating tacos, something, salad or something they was eating. And I said, well, okay, I love you, have a good night, and I will talk to you tomorrow. And I never talked to my child again, and she never made it back home.
Robinson's mom, Salamandra, says within 24 hours of her daughter's arrival, she was dead. Figuring out how or why has only added to the family's nightmare. It started with a frantic call from Robinson's friends.
They said she wasn't feeling well. She had alcohol poisoning. They couldn't get a pulse. Each one of the people that was there with her was telling different stories.
It's when the family made calls to the FBI and Mexican authorities that they learned of another potential cause of death.
The autopsy came back. They said it didn't have anything to do with alcohol. Said that she had been, she had a broken neck and her spine in the back was cracked. She had been beaten.
Salamandra says the entire group came back from Mexico, leaving her daughter's body there. Nearly 2 weeks and $6,000 later, her body is back home. But answers have been hard to come by.
You know, I know that's not going to bring my child back, but I want something done about it.
Queen City News has spoken with officials at the U.S. State Department in Mexico who refute the claim that Robinson was murdered, saying the police's initial indication is that there was no clear evidence of foul play. Here in Charlotte, her family refuses to believe their daughter's death was an accident, and they vow to find the truth of what happened that night in Cabo.
She had a heart of gold. She loved everybody, and pretty much everybody loved her.
An official with the State Department told us they're helping the family obtain reports from authorities and recommend the family hires a private investigator and an attorney if they question the circumstances surrounding Shanquella's death. Alicia.
All of Shanquella's friends that she went on the trip with, they returned to the United States, but Shanquella didn't. Her family ended up having to pay over $6,000 to get her body back home. It was her family's worst nightmare, but what made it more unsettling is not knowing what happened. When her mother received the phone call, all of the people on the trip with her daughter had different stories. They told her that Shanquella was drinking and blamed alcohol poisoning, but when she saw the death certificate, it disclosed that Shanquella passed away from spinal and neck injuries. In addition, several details were omitted. For example, there was one question on the document: was her death accidental or violent? The Mexican examiner simply typed yes and noted that Shanquella was a person found unconscious in her living room. An autopsy also found that Shanquella didn't have any alcohol in her system. So that means that previous reports provided by her friends of suspected alcohol poisoning came out to be false. Then there was a video that surfaced on social media showing Shanquella being attacked by another woman while on vacation in Cabo. The woman in the video was one of the friends that Shanquella traveled to the country with, and the incident took place inside of one of the bedrooms in the rental. That woman has been identified as Daejhanae Jackson, and in the video, Daejhanae can be seen beating up Shanquella, who didn't have on any clothes and never fought back. Meanwhile, you can hear a male voice off camera asking Quilla to at least fight back, and Shanquella said no. Shanquella did not want to fight Daejhanae. On her LinkedIn profile, Daejhanae describes herself as an aspiring healthcare professional. She says she attended Winston-Salem State University in North Carolina. Outside of LinkedIn, though, there was no other information available on Daejhanae. And the reason why no personal information is being released about Daejhanae, we're talking about the woman who allegedly caused the death of Shanquella, is because the sisterhood, the feminists and misandrists, they have all been working overtime in cahoots with each other to take some of the heat off of the actual killer by spreading the blame to the men on the trip. You have people like Spectacular from Pretty Ricky, and even K. Michelle, the Queen Rebel herself. Their focus seemed to be on the men watching. They mentioned grown men watching this happen, but they had no smoke for Daejhanae. All of this programming on social media to the minds of the people watching this story, especially the younger women, they're further instilling in their minds that it's always Jermaine's fault, even when this was not Jermaine fighting. This was Daejhanae. Outside of Shanquella, you had 6 other people on the trip, 3 women and 3 men. One of the men was not there when the incident took place. According to him, he didn't arrive in Cabo until the next day. So he came online saying that he didn't see a fight. Now, although he wasn't there, his address was put online. They sent threats to him and everything. And then you have a bunch of messages on TikTok and Instagram showing Shanquella and then pictures of the 3 men on the trip showing that those 3 men are behind this. When the truth is, this was between 2 grown women. And now that everyone is starting to see that it was Daejhanae behind all of this, all of a sudden they started a new rumor. They're going around saying that Daejhanae is a transgender. You have a person who took Daejhanae's photo. It's the same background, same shirt, and they photoshopped it, took her wig off, and made her look like she was a man. And for the record, Daejhanae is not a man. Daejhanae is a woman. But you have these misandrists. They are running interference right now because they do not want to place any blame on Daejhanae, the person who everyone can see now was coming for Shanquella on that videotape. And it's believed that those injuries came from the actions of Daejhanae that you can clearly see on the video. It's just amazing how you have all these stories plastering the photos of Shanquella and the men, and even when they show the pictures of the other people, the highlight isn't the main person behind all of this. It's amazing. Listen, I talk about this kind of stuff all the time, especially to the younger women. These people that you run around with and you think they're your friend, they are not your friend. Yes, most of you, just like Shanquella, you think you have friends, but you don't have any. And the problem is not having any. The problem is thinking that you have them when you don't. Trusting people that you shouldn't be around. Trusting people who don't like you. Trusting people who are jealous of you. Trusting people who want your life. Trusting people who are only around you to use you and take from you. Soak up your energy. No, you have to protect your energy. Everybody doesn't have the right to be around you. Now you have Shanquella. She lost her life all the way in Mexico. None of those people told the authorities the truth about what happened, which is why I wouldn't call any of them a friend. This is what I think. I believe the FBI, they should bring all these folks in. I believe they're already doing that. I hope that's what's happening right now. I want them to get all of their stories on record. Conduct the investigation. Get down to the bottom of what really happened. And then from there, work with Mexico and bring forth whatever charges necessary based on the results of that investigation. A thorough investigation. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Why is it that the misandrists are out here trying to convince themselves that Daejhanae was a man after the video surfaced linking her to Shanquella's injuries? Special thank you to B1K. I appreciate you for all of your support, as well as Lloyd, Aka Yemi, and Christopher B. Don't forget that you can support this channel as well. Links to Cash App and PayPal are below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to like and share.